Uh-oh. Somebody forgot again?
Yeah.
You need to give me some lead time.
Call a meeting to order, call the roll.
Mr. Elliott?
Here.
Mr. Hoffman?
Present.
Mr. Nieder?
Here.
Mr. Polis?
Here.
Mrs. Smith? Here. Mr. Stevens?
Present.
Mr. White?
Here.
Mr. Wood?
Here. I have invocation.
Heavenly Father, once again we pause before Thee to offer our thanks. We thank Thee for this day. We thank Thee for Thy presence in our lives. And most of all, Father, we thank Thee for the gift of Thy Son and our Savior, Jesus Christ. We ask that You bless us with the knowledge and the wisdom that we would understand and know the needs of our community and as citizens, and our actions would reflect in that. These things we ask in Your Son's dear name. Amen.
All the council has minutes of our special meeting and of our regular meeting. Was there any corrections or additions?
I had one, and I guess I'm asking for clarification. I believe that the motions from the ordinance committee are to recommend to full council for consideration, not to recommend to full council to pass. Is that correct?
That's the committee.
Oh, that's committee, okay.
Yes.
Okay,
That's not the council.
That's not the council.
okay. Then nothing.
Okay, if not, they stand as read. Old business.
Under old business, I would like to ask the council for, it is my recommendation to go ahead with Miko Engineering to do the assessment of the Gertha Hodges Building at 401 Georgia Street.
I'll make a motion, we accept that recommendation to hire Miko Engineering for the 401 Georgia Street.
Second. Motion made in second.
Discussion.
Discussion.
Having the engineer do that work, which has a cost associated with it, was running parallel to the fact that we also had a proposal on the table to purchase it that did not stipulate paying an engineer for that work. I would like to see that second and motion withdrawn, and I would like to see a motion proposed to treat the Bell Davis proposal the same way we treated.
Exactly what he submitted was that it be put out for bids,
Okay,
and I guess you can say it has been put out for bids, however,
well, we put it out, we made a request for proposals, right, which is a little different,
yes,
so.
yes, I would agree with you. There is another interested party, and she has been in contact with Mr. Davis, not only for Gertha Hodges Building, but for Jim's building, and for the third building to the west, which is Feldworth's building.
I know the gal you're talking about. I'm thrilled that she's interested. My concern is that proposal came second after the fact, after we had already put out a request for proposals.
But there was no monetary offer in that bid whatsoever.
I believe we're in a situation where we're treating Bell and Davis's proposal differently than we treated two other ones, and that's really my concern. I
And-
don't see a reason to pursue I would love to see the engineer's report if we're gonna hold on to that building. If we're not gonna hold on to that building, I'd rather not pay for an engineer's report.
And then
So-
there again, that is the council's decision.
Right.
And if that's the path that you want to take, then we should end the discussion of this in open session and go to closed session.
Well, I think we have every right to discuss this in open session. It's an option to talk about it in closed session.
Well, the way the statute reads says that you can acquisition, or not the statute, but Sunshine Law says acquisition, purchasing, and selling of land should be discussed.
No, I think it says it can be, and it should be
Can be,
interpreted
and
narrowly.
well-
It does not say should be.
Well, we're gonna fight about a word or two.
An important word, yes. I'll fight about a single important
Yeah,
word.
Well, the only thing that we had, the council said that we were thinking about keeping the building. They wanted to have it inspected by an engineer. Okay. If the council's thinking about not selling the building, we don't need an engineer.
I actually agree with that. I withdraw my second.
Then I withdraw my.
I agree with
Okay,
that.
Then
so then we'll end the discussion on that, and we've got,
Well, I'm gonna make a motion that
no,
we,
have a motion on the floor.
they were just withdrawn.
Yeah,
Okay.
true.
I'm gonna make a motion that exactly as we did with the Dempseys and the Carters, that we authorize by motion for the mayor to engage Bell and Davis to make the sale of that property based on their proposal, which, by the way, did include stating it could go out for bid.
And
But
a 1-year timeline.
And 1-year timeline, I would add that. That sounds
Is
good.
that your motion?
That's my motion.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Kathy. Discussion? Call the roll.
Mr. Elliott?
Yeah.
Mr. Hoffman?
No, actually, I would prefer to have more information.
Mr. Neighbor?
Yes?
Mr. Paulus?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Stevens?
No.
Mr. White?
Yes?
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Motion passed. Okay. Go ahead, Bob, you're still.
The second item under old business would be, it was approved by the council, and that was the hiring of an economic development director. And I would like to introduce Tivis Powers as our new part-time economic development director. And Tivis, I hate to put you on the spot, but if you would come forward just for a few minutes and briefly tell the audience and the council your background.
How you doing? I worked for Congressman Carnahan in federal government for 5 years. I have a master's degree in public policy and admin, and I'm a business owner in town down on Georgia Street. And I love this town and I want to see it grow, so I think I can make a difference.
What business do you own?
Rubberman Stamp,
Oh, okay.
417 Georgia.
Okay.
Welcome.
Yes,
you.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Look forward to working with you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, TC.
He goes by TC. Bob? He goes by TC?
Yes,
PC, yeah.
the C is for the middle name,
Yeah.
Clayton
Just so I have it right, in this introduction,
Tivis
it's
Clayton.
Tivis.
Powers, Tivis.
Tivis.
Don't laugh at start.
Huh?
I like to.
I'm not actually, I was thinking that's a neat name. That's a neat
It's
name.
actually Clay.
And actually, he'll start tomorrow.
Great.
Okay. At this time, we open the council to the business.
I have more old business if you don't mind.
Okay.
I just had a few inquiries to get some status on the problem properties, the burst properties in particular. Where are we with that? Mr. Rapp outlined a process by which we could address this, and where are we in that process, et
Okay,
cetera.
Kent, you want to answer that?
The Burst properties, according to city ordinance, were declared a public nuisance on August the 5th, and they have a total of, the ordinances read that you have no less than 15 days to clean up their mess, clean it up. He's also been instructed by our municipal court to have it cleaned up. The court's time limit was the first Thursday in September. That is 3 days longer than our 15-day minimum. So I sent all the letters to all the property owners and the person that uses the property, and gave him 18 days to clean the property up. Then the judge can rule. We have to clean the property up then. So the first Thursday in September, I'm hoping that the judge will rule. We can do it, the council can do it, but with his ruling, that's just like double the power. But we'll start the following week, clean them up.
Wonderful.
From driving past there today, it looks as though the west side of the property has been cleared of a good considerable amount of debris. So I think they're getting with it.
Not to interrupt, I think that he's in there grabbing the goodies now, and just ahead of a storm.
So the second week of September, your thoughts are that that's when you're gonna,
Yes, ma'am, unless the judge orders us not to or something, but
okay,
we can do it according to city ordinance.
okay.
And again, to just keep track of where we are on the Dempsey's wall, and I think I saw him here. I was just wondering where we are in the process of taking care of that wall on the Dempsey lot. I mean, it was a huge problem when Haynes Moss had it, right? So I presume it's still a huge problem, but there's a new owner. No?
No.
I mean, the
Dempsey.
Dempsey,
On the other one.
right. So I'm wondering what the status of that repair to that wall is next to the caboose lot.
Mr. Dempsey's made his plans and stuff, but I don't think he started on it yet. So
Mr. Dempsey's here, would you like to address that,
I
Mr.
figured
Dempsey?
that'd be, yeah.
Construction, I hope to be planning will start in about 2 weeks.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Mr. Neener.
And the last item I wanted to check on from old business was the concrete patch on the town branch over there by Sally's, across the street from Sally's. I think we discussed it's being under road. I think we brought it up before and had talked about maybe needing an engineering opinion. You said that's a difficult thing to know.
So far, it's intact.
So you don't think there's any problem or structural issue
At
there?
this point in time, I don't see it.
Okay.
It's all the pipes surrounding the concrete, isn't it?
Yeah, it's basically all
Not a
done.
pipe, it's
Look right there.
there's around that curve where all that concrete was poured, through the last couple of floods, when I go and look, the foundation has eroded quite a bit underneath there. There's pieces of it breaking off. I see a structural problem there, but you're indicating there's not.
When's the last time that was inspected by anybody?
Inspected,
Yeah.
what do you mean, Sal? You mean?
Well, I mean, is that something we generally look at because we poured the concrete? I mean, it's probably something we need to kind of keep an eye on if it's eroding.
I think it's just kind of like drive by and look and
Double check.
check, yeah.
What's that?
That's all I have.
Okay. At this time, we open the council to visitors in the audience that would like to address them, may do so. Come forward, state your name, and you may have the floor.
Everybody know I'm Sally Crop. Concerning that creek, it's coming loose up on the bottom. if we have a good flood, it's cut all the rock up on the bottom of that, with that cement is coming loose. So it is not in good shape.
Nobody said that.
Okay, well, I will let you know, it is not, it needs to be repaired. Because we had a good flood, all that's gonna be gone, and it's not, even the walls up above it, the one that y'all repaired, is in bad shape too.
Under whose opinion?
Huh?
Under whose opinion, Ms. Kraut?
Under yours, and under mine, because I live there.
Based upon what
Oh.
knowledge?
What knowledge that I know when a rock is falling away from the wall. Everybody got that much common sense.
I don't know that it needs to be controversial. It is also my opinion that that is eroding, and that would be under the knowledge of someone trained in architectural static structures.
You're right, and I'm gonna say this. Every year, since 1972, they put $10,000 into the city branch, each and every year. We've built the walls. Even though they say we don't own, for the health and welfare of the city, that city branch runs through our city. And if that starts coming down, we're gonna have a whole lot of problems. And even though they say we don't own it, we have maintained it for 40 years plus. And I think we should go in there and fix the city branch right.
I agree. So the reason for bringing it up was to see if you needed any resources in order to get this area fixed right.
Technically, we cannot.
Explain that a little bit, Bob.
We don't own it. We have looked at adversarial possession. I've tried that route. FEMA has stipulated under adversarial possession, if you do maintenance on something over a period of time, you can technically say that you can appeal to own it. And I'll let Mr. Rapp elaborate on it if need be. They have said, FEMA came back in and said, this is not your property. As such, we're not providing you funding to fix it.
I would love to hear Mr. Rapp's opinion on some of this.
Can I ask another question? Can you get an E-way to the owners and they'll sign y'all E-way so y'all can have the branch, the people that do have it?
That is possible, but
Quitclaim
getting
deeds.
100%.
You got my permission to take mine anytime you want to.
Sally,
So you got permission to clean the creek behind my house, you bring your E-way.
I think it's a very reasonable thing for this council to pursue, and it can't all be done at once, but we could start at one end and have a comprehensive plan of getting quitclaim deeds from the property owners, which would establish, I think, suitable ownership for us to do what Tom has indicated we want to do and should do. So I think that
that's all fine and dandy, but are you gonna get 100% compliance?
we don't need
And
one.
what, yes, you do.
No, we don't. We could go fix the concrete that is in that area if we had the rights to that area. We do not need to have the entire branch to fix an area of the branch.
Of course, I guess you're all know Porter Elliott. 77-140 gives the city council and mayor permission or grant the right to repair and change any water course at 77-140. And keep it clear and operate.
Anyway, going back to the branch, we did it for years. And I'm not saying Bob's wrong that we we don't own it. I've looked at some property owners that shows them coming completely across the branch. But nobody's ever said anything in 40 years when we did patch it. So that's my recommendation to the full council, that we appropriate money next year to start fixing the city branch.
And I'm not disagreeing with anybody on needed repairs, but where am I gonna get the money?
It's true. That's true.
Yeah.
It's a good fact.
I just had a suggestion. My house in Bowling Green sits right on the branch that runs through Bowling Green. and they wanted to improve the way that water flowed. They wanted to put concrete on, so basically they just called in every property owner along the way and gave everyone $1 for an easement. And it, like, no one was gonna, because it was messing up everyone's yard, so everyone went along with it. Does that not seem possible to do something like that?
Yes, there's a lot of alternatives we can do to get.
Seems like everyone along there would be like.
So
Well, how do we begin to
Yeah,
explore?
can we make that plan?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can make a comprehensive plan for the city branch.
How do we do that? How do we make that
Have a
start?
work study, have this council go up there and look at it, and if you need some concrete people, or have like Brett Penrod come in here, or all these other different people that work with concrete, and tell us what we can do, the most feasible way to get it done, and then have specs drew up. Right now you've got 7 areas in the city branch that needs immediate attention. And we haven't touched any of them since I've been back, because we don't own it. But we always put $10,000 a year in the city branch, and if you look along the branch, you'll see where there's concrete that has been poured over the years to fix these walls. And I think Randall's got one not too far from where the Swisher Village is that we fixed before.
I'd like to make a motion that we schedule a work study on the city branch to create a comprehensive plan.
Second.
Thank you.
Got a second? Okay.
Jim?
Motion made, second, call it.
Point of order. When would you want to hold this?
Good. That'd be nice to know.
Yeah.
I'm pretty flexible here in the next month. Sal's probably one of the
Yeah, you
hardest
know,
ones.
you need to think about this when you have the work study, because you're gonna have to come up with appropriations where you're gonna get some of that.
Until we have a plan, we don't even know what that
Yeah,
is.
That's true.
We'll need a dollar amount to figure that out.
Yeah,
But we can start figuring out what the process is.
well, we can look at
That's an option to look
the
at.
branch
I
and
think it's
pick
gonna
out the
depend on
worst
who that
spots.
property is owned by.
And maybe Mr. Rapp could offer some possible suggestions about how we
Good. Remember,
proceed to deal with the property ownership issues.
Well, I talked to Sonny the other day, and we was gonna just go by and ask the property owners to give us
Quit claim deed them.
quick claim deed to the
Or
branch
easement.
right there
Mhm.
on their property.
Does the Corps enter into that branch?
Yes.
The Corps has the
Yeah.
right of way, the waterway is the Corps, but what I'm saying is if the wall of the city branch is on Sally Crop's property and she gives me a quick claim deed, we can still go in there and repair the wall there.
Well, if there may be an issue, and this is why I indicated Mr. Rapp's opinion would be important. For instance, with the FEMA funds where we got denied because we can't show ownership, I don't know if an easement would be enough for that, or if we would actually have to show
The other
ownership. We may need to
stipulation
look for an ownership
is with
solution.
FEMA that you have to show a regularly scheduled maintenance program performed on that waterway.
Then we better start doing that.
Well, we could show them the
But if
schedule.
it's not broken, I mean, yes, it is broken in some areas, but you get to the point where it's not broken.
There's a problem I'd like to have.
Yeah.
Will this be a long-term fix?
Yeah, you have to have a comprehensive study and then make a plan for 5 years, and then you're gonna have to
Right.
find a way to appropriate the money. to do
Right.
it.
Is next Monday good?
I was gonna tell you, well, we'll be here next Monday for that meeting as well.
That's why I was.
All I can tell you is if I can't be there, I can't be there. It's just one of those crazy months, guys. If I
Next
can't-
Monday evening,
I'm going on vacation.
you're going, okay, that's fine. We can push it back. When do you get
Well,
back?
you don't need me for an initial thing, and you need to find out who are all these potential property owners that you
I
have to deal
think,
with.
I think
Okay.
Randall's got a
If
list
half of
of.
them say, we're not gonna deal with you,
Randall?
I know all about it.
Randall's
I've
got
got
a
all the
list.
deeds in my house,
excellent,
You got all the deeds?
copies of all the deeds.
Okay. I
excellent.
thought you was gonna tell us you hadn't
Larry knows
signed.
that.
That'd be
He's
nice.
seen them all.
Are you gonna get them signed for us, Randall? I said, I thought you was gonna get them signed for us.
Randall, can you get us a copy of that?
Somebody needs to poll those property owners to see if you're gonna have
Lots of
some kind of
papers.
consensus.
Okay.
Okay.
If you don't have any
Lots of papers, I can bring them to
consensus,
City
you
Hall.
can have all the special meetings you want.
We'll set up a
I'm
public
pretty sure we'll get
meeting.
consensus.
Good idea.
We'll set up a public meeting and invite the property owners along the city branch to come in and tell us if they're willing to deed their property over to us.
Could I say that I think you need to study first, and then invite the property.
I agree completely.
Okay,
So what about if we went 2 weeks from now, Monday the 26th?
that sounds pretty good.
Does that give everyone enough time? And
They're agreeable to everybody?
that's what I'm asking. 5:30? 5:30? 5:30 on the 26th?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
that's,
They would
that's the
have-
whole next 2
5:30.
weeks, till September 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so you won't be able to make the first meeting, but we could get together and formulate a plan and list of questions for you.
Sure.
Okay. So that was my motion. We
I'll
had a second?
it. Oh, no, Jim seconded.
Jim seconded it.
Motion made and second, call the roll.
Mr. Elliott?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Nieder?
Yes?
Mr. Vogel?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Stevens?
Yay.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else would like to address? Yes, Leon.
Mr. Mr. Chairman, my name's Leon Reeves. I'm a resident here, a property owner. I really wasn't thinking about getting up here and saying much tonight or making some comments that I'm gonna make, but some of the things I've seen have changed my mind. Because I've been coming to these meetings, I come to every meeting. I haven't missed these meetings in years. I come to all of them because I don't want to know what's going on, and I know what's going on. And I've been coming to these meetings now for the last 5 months under this new administration. And I haven't seen much of anything but a lot of bickering and arguing between everybody, innuendos and motions made, and some were in violation of the law, some weren't. And I've seen just the committee before this, before April, I seen, I'm not choosing up sides here, but the people we had before April 1st, I could come to these meetings and they didn't do a lot. This city doesn't have a lot of money to work with. But every this meeting I come to, you could see some improvement they was making. They was trying. We seen our riverfront, the dock on the river, the cleaning up of the riverfront, our Tribble House down here, the streets, the city going out, the town going across the bridge down the city, the old buildings tore down, our city parks, our swimming pool. I could see some improvement. But for the last 5 months, I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't seen much of anything but a lot of bickering and people getting up and leaving, walking out of this place. What I've seen, I seen last month's meeting, I seen the chairman read a letter about he received from some people that they want him to resign or retire or do something that was borderline within the sunshine law. I heard this read by the mayor. I heard the month before last, I said a lady was here from on Jackson Street, wanting to know what they was going to do with this property, this certain property on Jackson Street, where it was a health hazard, and there was possums running all over this property, and she would like to have something done about it. And I don't see there's been a damn thing done about it. At our ballpark, but whoever got in there and did a chop job on this ballpark, I don't know what it was, but they know what's going on. This was all a tall part. And last month, I guess this would set it all off. But this city had been trying to sell 3 lots of this here in the city that they wanted to sell and get maintained so a business could be put into this property. And these people were here to buy this property, to obtain this property. They'd been trying to get this property for a year, over a year been trying. And they was willing to fix it up and maintain it. And they wanted to buy this property, and the motion was made here that they buy it, they took a vote, and these people were voted down. They didn't want to sell them the property yet.
And these people got up and left this hall in bad, they were bad. And he made some enemies there.
Mr. Reeves,
And
you got one, let me interrupt you, man, you got 1 minute left on your time.
Okay, this is, I just see these things that I don't intend to be insulted. Last month's meeting, I was insulted, right, in this hall, very hall here. And I've been, and other people in the attendance here have been heckled and harassed when we leave this building, outside on this parking lot. Last month, they had to call the police out here on the parking lot. And like I said, I don't intend to be harassed or insulted anymore. I've seen some of our old members get up here in front of this phone, and because they were denied out of order, they get up here with this Sieg Heil motion salute given up here. And I was here when this happened, and I was insulted by this. And if there's any other veterans here in this city or this state was insulted by this, I don't like this. I see this.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves, your time's up.
I had some more to say, but I'll let it go just because there was an article in this paper that I wanted to comment on that I didn't appreciate.
Okay, but thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else like to address the council?
Very quick. Last week, Sal talked about if we get this ballpark project approved, that the committee that we've been working with the school and the Y Core League, we were trying to work out some ways so we wouldn't have to ask the city for funds or the school for funds in the future. So I called around to some different parks and schools, and I just have one copy of this first one. Palmyra, they sold outfield fence advertising, and they just approached their local businesses, and they made $20,000 this spring in fence advertising. So if we get the project approved tonight, I'd like to, going forward, so we wouldn't have to approach you guys again for money, I'd like to see about getting permission for the committee for our park committee to go forward and offering advertisements with the feed.
You're talking about the fence line walls at the end?
And you know what Palmyra does, something I'd like to do different than Palmyra, is they do aluminum fence, which would dent with the ball. If we get a big gust of wind, it could possibly ruin our fence. Ellsbury, American Legion Park, they use a mesh fence, a mesh banner, and I think that would allow some wind to go through. So it would be less likely to ruin our fence. And my proposal would be to advertise in the spring and the fall and the summertime, and then take them down in the wintertime.
And if I'm right, that's just, you're creating your own revenue stream for those parks from here on out. That's good. Good.
So I have just a sample. I mean, obviously prices would be just whatever our committee would come up with. You want to pass these around?
If anybody's interested in looking at it. Yeah, I'll take one.
Okay. Like I said, prices could be, I mean, we could adjust prices. I know it's hard economic times for small business.
Thank you.
Thanks, Curtis.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt. Anybody else like to address the council? If not, we'll go on.
Yeah, I'm Steve Henry. I have a problem. Last Thursday I was cussed. My fiance was cussed with an 11-year-old boy in the back seat. I went to the police station to file a complaint. The guy that cussed me and did all the stuff, the guy he lived with was dispatcher. Well, I asked to see an officer. He refused to let me see an officer. He said I had to talk to him. Then they said I got loud. I was very upset, but I was not screaming and I was not hollering. Mr. Condon, Officer Condon, come back. I talked to him. He said he would get an officer down there. They got an officer down there. Well, Jackman, he let me sit there for 15, 20 minutes by myself. Jackman comes in. He asked me if I was the one screaming and hollering. I said I wasn't screaming. I wasn't hollering. He said I had an attitude and he wasn't going to talk to me. So he went back, he got one complaint form, there was 4 people in the car. Me, her, him, and another guy. that seen the whole thing. So I had him go back and get some more paperwork, and I left. Then Friday I was called and told that my name come over the scanner, and then I got home 9 o'clock Saturday, 9:20, 2 officers show up at my house and arrest me for disturbing the peace. They didn't tell me what I did, and it was one officer I had a problem with and signed up to file a complaint on, the other one I've had trouble with. But I didn't say a word, went to jail, got arrested and everything. What I want to know is, I filed a complaint on the guy that cussed me in front of an 11-year-old boy and my fiance and another man. Nothing's been done. He hasn't been ticketed. All I've been keep telling him is, well, it's under investigation. It's under investigation. Now, this was August 1st when this happened. And I've talked to people, but it seems like he's under investigation. Why hasn't nothing been done with this man? He can just walk up and he blames her, says, for getting fired. She never got him fired. I talked to the woman that fired him. She didn't fire him for that. She fired him for his mouth. Because he told her that no bitch tells him what to do. And she fired him. Well, just because he's a roommate of a dispatcher, he gets special treatment. He don't get tickets like anybody else.
He does.
And he also cussed me. When he cussed me, he also said that he was a dispatcher at the police station and that the cops are on his side now and he could pretty much, he's trying to get me to hit him is what he's trying to do, but I didn't. I tried to do the right thing, and the right thing got me arrested. Now the 11-year-old boy, he's seen the whole thing. He's seen the incident in the dollar store parking lot. He's seen down here at the police station what happened, and he's seen them come and arrest me. And he don't know what's going on, because he knows I didn't do anything. And now he sees the police, he's scared to death of the cops. My fiance, she's afraid to go anywhere, because she's afraid this guy's going to jump her and just start cussing her and get away with it again.
Okay, Steve, you came in and you filled out a complaint to the...
I wasn't going to turn it into his roommate, so Monday I turned it into Chief Hughes.
Okay, so you said this happened the first. You give it to Chief Hughes Monday, which...
A week ago.
A week ago. And what did Chief Hughes tell you?
I talked to him tonight, and he said it's still under investigation. He said he's still got to talk to people and everything.
You could have came in and found that out today, right?
I couldn't get in today. I had my granddaughter, I was babysitting. I had to give Dad, I take care of my 87-year-old father, and I had to bathe him, clean him up. And the time I got up here, it was almost 5:30.
Okay. Well, Chief,
I
you
have
want to
all
answer?
statements. That is an investigation that is open and is pending as a court, so I won't speak on that matter. He was advised if it did go to court that he would be subpoenaed as witnesses and those present.
Okay.
So in other words, you can just go around and say you have the police on your side, and you work for the police department, and cuss people. See, I mean, it's getting pretty bad.
No, that don't fly. And if you got a witness to that point, then that'll come out in an investigation.
Okay. So when would I hear anything?
Chief says.
When the
Been
investigation
advised that he can come in tomorrow morning, be more than happy to provide him with a copy of that report. I told you that outside, sir.
Okay. And I was also, when I arrested, when I was getting ready to leave, that officer there told me to expect to be arrested again for a complaint I filed on him a couple months ago. I can't exact the date, but it's been a while back.
Okay, that'll be in the investigation report also.
All right.
Anybody else? If not, we'll go on. Any reading, hearing, petitions, other communications?
I have something just quickly. I don't realize we get a whole lot done around here, but this is pretty good news. Sharon Kokoris, did I get it right? All right, so that's the first time I got it right. Actually, something pretty neat that's happened with Sharon. She was recognized being certified as a Missouri Professional City Clerk. It's an MPCC designation, which is the highest designation obtainable within the association. So I just really wanted to recognize her for the good work. What's that?
Stole my thunder.
Will you try it? Listen, I'm better looking and younger. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm going to sit down now. Sharon, let's clap for Sharon and her designation. Bob.
Finance committee.
Now's the time to ask for the rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sal, go ahead.
Finance?
See, you've already made him mad, so they want the rate.
I don't think we have the money appropriated for you, I'm sorry. Good job, though. Finance committee, we called the meeting to order at 5:30. Myself, Mr. Stevens, Mr. Wood, Mr. Needner was absent at the beginning. Present was Mr. Jenny, Mayor Wallace, Mr. Rapp, and Ms. Johnson. Made a motion to approve the minutes of July 8th meeting, 2013, seconded by Mr. Stevens. We made a motion to bring before the council paying warrant 62 through 72, 2013, in the amount of $315,291.26, seconded by Mr. Stevens, and all voting yea. I make a motion to pay those warrants.
I second.
Motion made and second, call the roll.
Mr. Elliott?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Needner?
Yes.
Mr. Paulus?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Stevens?
Yay.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Also made a motion to bring to full council paying Klinger and Associates and Lehman Construction for a total amount of $483,012.49, seconded by Mr. Stevens, all voting yea. I make a motion to pay that as well in full.
Second.
Motion made and second, call the roll.
Mr. Elliott?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Needner?
Yes.
Mr. Paulus?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yay.
Mr. Stevens?
Yay.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Jenny opened the bid for the fencing project on the ball fields that is chopped up. Robinson Fencing from Springfield, Missouri is $28,365. CNL Fencing from Eolia was $12,985. Mr. Neener entered the meeting at 5:35 p.m. Made a motion to bring full council approving the bids for Mark Twain Construction and CL Fencing for us to appropriate matching funds of $15,000, seconded by Mr. Neener, all voting yea. Are we going to bring that up in yours to vote on? Will that be all right with you? You want to go ahead and do it now? Okay, let's go ahead and make a motion to pay those funds so we can get that project moving.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion made and second, call the roll.
Who's second?
What,
I said.
what is the motion?
To pay.
If you would just qualify that by saying that that funding will come from reserves.
Yeah, this
If
is,
you would, please.
this is the full motion to meet what we said we would
Yeah.
do.
Right.
And
So-
you want to do that? I'm sorry.
I'd like to see that motion
Up to-
stated.
Up to 15,000
From reserve.
from reserves.
That,
Thank you.
I said.
Did someone second?
I second.
Motion made, second.
Mr. Elliott?
No.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Needner?
Yes.
Mr. Paulus?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yay.
Mr. Stevens?
Abstain.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Mr. Jenny stated that Kubota mower was 7 years old, is no longer working. He has a bid from Meyer Implement for $17,500 for a new mower. Mr. Jenny talked with Mr. Logan of Bank of Louisiana, and they finance it for 5 years with annual payments. I made a motion to bring to full council appropriating $17,500 from reserves to purchase the Kubota mower outright from Meyer Implement, seconded by Mr. Neener, all voting yea.
No, we'll have to bid that out.
Okay, so we'll have to hold off on that.
Or do it.
I mean, if we have to bid that out,
I think statute says anything over
Anything over
5,000.
Anything over
It should be
5,000.
so I make a motion to bid that
To
out
bid that
for a
out.
week.
Right.
Okay.
I second that.
Motion made and second, call the roll.
Are we putting a week from like next Tuesday or Wednesday when the paper comes out? And we
Yeah, I
can't
have
say
to
a
put
week
it-
from
have to put it
today.
out in the paper.
Yeah, so it'll be
Yeah.
Be a
Like-
Tuesday and be a
yeah.
week.
Okay.
a week
So about a week and a
plus.
half. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
If you include it on our work study, we could probably get it approved and move forward quicker.
Yeah, I'll
By
just
week.
call for it to be submitted by close of business on the 23rd.
Okay. Motion made second, call the roll.
Mr. Elliott?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Neener?
Yes.
Mr. Powers?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Stevens?
Yay.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Neener wanted to schedule a meeting to discuss sections on the state required funds and what we need to do to begin to fund those. Meeting's been set for August 19th, 2013 at 10 a.m. to discuss the state required funds. And I made a motion to adjourn, seconded by Mr. Wood, all voting yea at 5:45 p.m. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you. Bart, Fire Committee?
Fire Committee met on August 5th. There were really only 2 items. Hiring Skylar Pitzer is still pending. It's taking longer than usual. Jamie Ybarra will move to full-time. That's mostly informative for Sharon, I think. And that was it.
Okay, thank you. Police Committee?
We approved the minutes of our July meeting. We stated that the annual inspection at the dog pound, the city passed that, but we do have an overcrowding problem there, especially with cats. The Humane Society and Kappa are both involved to help alleviate this problem. Stated that August the 6th was National Night Out. We had 3 locations for block parties. We have a need for some part-time dispatchers, so Chief Hughes will be looking to hire dispatchers in the near future. Reverend Cohn stepped up to state that he was hoping that there would be more block parties scheduled, possibly a better turnout next year. He stated that he, on behalf of the Ministerial Alliance, received numerous calls for assistance, and he recently had received 2 calls from people with special needs, and he complimented Chief Hughes for his active part in this and getting the people the help that they needed. That's all we have, Tom.
Okay, thank you, Sam.
I do have something. Last Saturday night, the citizens of the main street of this town had a special introductory meeting so that they could meet their new citizens in their area. And one of the people who came to the event, by the way, there were about 80 people there, came to the event, parked in front of the police chief's house. This person happened to be the vice president of Fifth Gear, which gives him, I guess, no more importance than anyone else in town. But the people at this event were very embarrassed to have the police come and tell this person to move his vehicle. And the question I'm asked is that street a street that has no parking on it? And
I live on that street,
yes,
and there's parking in front of my home.
there should be parking in front of Chief Hughes's house also. So this man should not have been asked to move his car.
We'll see what Mr. Hughes has to say.
Okay, I would appreciate that.
Okay. Is that all, son?
That's all.
Streets and alleys.
I made a motion to approve the minutes from the July meeting. Mr. Stevens seconded the motion, all voting yea, motion carried. The large stop sign that we've requested for 9th and North Carolina streets evidently hadn't come in yet. And Reverend Cohn stated he'd like to thank the city for quickly changing the street sign by his home. He also had concern of overgrown shrubbery at the northeast corner of 9th and Tennessee Street, and the 2 signs on Ormond Avenue are misspelled. Ms. Smith stated that there are bushes and weeds partially blocking the stop sign at Haley Avenue, and the old Alf building has a lot of vegetation growing next to it. I don't know whether anything's been done to the Alf building, but Haley Avenue, I think, has been corrected.
Yeah, if I may, I didn't say it was blocking the stop sign, it's just that all the road going up on the curb, the weeds are like a foot tall going up Haley
partially
Avenue.
blocked.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's been all corrected.
Okay,
Uh,
I haven't been up that way, so.
And sinkhole that Mr. Hoffman's talking about on 16th Street's been repaired. And that's all I have.
Okay, Bob, you wanna bring it up about the streets?
I was gonna do that
Under
under
your committee, okay.
new business.
All right. Buildings and grounds, thank you, Jim.
Minutes were approved from the July meeting. The tanks Mr. Elliott is trying to secure are no longer available. Mrs. Smith stated that she's received numerous complaints about the swimming pool closing early. Mr. Jennings will speak with Marcia Garrison about this matter. Mr. Hoffman stated there are numerous dead trees on properties in town and believes people need to be cited for potentially dangerous trees. There is currently not an ordinance in place that would allow for such citations to be given. Mr. Jennings will speak with Mr. Rapp on this matter. Mr. Elliott inquired about the status of getting the dumpster back on Star Hill. Mr. Jennings stated he knows that DNR will not approve the application, and even if they did, the cost would be approximately $2,000 per year for the permit. There was discussion on this matter, no action taken as of yet.
I'm throwing it right there. We're getting conflicting reports. I talked to DNR, I talked to the lady that came here, whatever her name was. I talked to her boss. He did not tell me that. He never indicated at all that we couldn't have a dumpster. If we get one, it'll be up to us. We're gonna have some rules we got to follow. But he never indicated at all to me that we couldn't have a dumpster, and if we did, it would cost $2,000. What they're doing, they're checking with the other towns have got dumpsters. We're not the only town that had a dumpster like I was led to believe. Other towns have got them. DNR is checking these other towns. We're not gonna get anything better than they got, but they're not gonna give us anything worse. One of the things, they don't want it up over that burn pile. They want the dumpster away from the burn pile, because it's too easy to just. But I don't know who we're talking to different, but I don't know the guy's name, but who was this lady that was here, Betty, Mary?
Mary Hopkins,
Mary
and then I
Hopkins.
talked to Scott, which is
Her boss.
her supervisor.
Well, that's the guy that talked to me. Now, unless he's lying to you or lying to me.
No,
we've
what
been
he's
told-
saying, we could have it if we want to go through the application process.
Exactly.
But in all likelihood, they're not going to approve it.
No, he didn't tell me that. He did not tell me that.
Okay.
He's gonna send that application, and he said in a week or two.
That's fine.
And when it gets here, I want a copy of it in my box. I want to see that.
Not a problem.
I think the citizens in this town are more interested and need that dumpster more than they need a lot of the other things we're talking about here. To me, that is important. It is to me. I've done some yard work this week. I've got sacks and stuff I gotta dribble into the trash, because it's too much for them to take off at one time. So, but anyway, that's it. I don't know whether we're gonna get that dumpster or not, but the man didn't indicate to me that we couldn't have it, or it was gonna cost $2,000. That's it,
Okay. Okay. Mr. Nieder stated that since Mr. Bell and Mr. Davis have given a proposal to the city for the purchase of the Hodges Building, he believes the city needs to treat it the same way as the previous two properties that were sold to the Carters and Dempsey. Mr. Rapp then stated that the only section in the code book for trees is section 220.020, and it has a section for minimum clearance only.
That's all I had.
Okay, thank you. Water Committee.
Okay, we approved the minutes of the July meeting, and we did get that grant for that engineering. Have you got to bid that out, Bob, or are you just gonna?
It went out in the paper this week.
So we should be hearing, how long is it gonna be?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. So we should hear something about that. And
We should receive requests for qualifications by August 30th.
August 30th, okay. And of course, the tank on East Street is, we've beat that to death. You're still waiting to drop the level, so we can get in there and do that. And, the wastewater plant, you might give us a short.
They brought in an additional crew. They've only got 2 small interior walls to put in. They should have that done by this week, and then they will start putting in all of interior piping and everything else. So that'll be the last of the concrete work.
Have they gained any of the time back?
They're gaining time back, and Lehman had said that as other crews free up, he's going to send them here because there's a number of different projects that each crew could work on.
Right.
To make up for the time. And I did receive notification today from DNR. They did give us approval for the extension of our abatement order on consent.
Okay. Well, the flood date, you know, didn't. Mr. Nieder stated, and that's been took care of in this work study. The finance committee is going to take care of that 715, 030, and 090. Unless somebody else got something, that's all I got.
Okay. Grant Committee.
The minutes were approved for the July meeting. There was no word from the MLB grant. Bob?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I would say that that's just a done deal. Chief Hughes is doing the annual equipment grant. And Mr. Paul stated that Bowling Green received a grant from MLB, however, it wasn't as much as the city had applied for. So we might want to look at maybe what Bowling Green got and see if that's a different grant. That's all I have time.
Okay. From now on, Kathy, you can start referring a little bit of that.
MLB, smaller grant from Bowling Greens. Thank you. Sorry, it's habit.
That was the chief that just called me too.
Oh.
Was it?
That was your chief?
Our chief.
That boy.
I thought you meant Lona.
Yeah. That's the boss. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, the chief wanted me to notify you in session that the vehicle that was in question was actually parked on Kentucky, and it was in the middle of a roadway, and they had to move it off onto the shoulder.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, Ordinance Committee.
The Ordinance Committee met and the minutes were approved and seconded and passed. We had several ordinances that came up. First one, I made a motion to recommend the full council to pass an ordinance to amend section 110.110, standing committees of the municipal code of the city of Louisiana, county of Pike, Missouri. Mrs. Smith seconded it. Mrs. Smith exited the meeting, and we don't need to know about that. Mr. Elliott expressed concerns about the ordinance. Mrs. Smith entered again. A vote was taken. Mrs. Smith and Mr. Hoffman voted yea, and Mr. Elliott and Mr. White voted nay. No action was taken. The second one, there was a discussion on an ordinance to amend section 110.240, procedures for the mayor and the council to consider any bill or ordinance of the municipal code of the city of Louisiana, county of Pike, Missouri. Afterwards, it was decided that this ordinance will be a dead issue, and Mrs. Smith made a motion to have Mr. Rapp write an ordinance to repeal section 110.240. Mr. Hoffman seconded the motion and all voted yea.
that has been completed,
Okay.
as is the next one.
There was a discussion on an ordinance to amend section 110.250, declaring emergency status for reviewing any bill or ordinance of the municipal code of the city of Louisiana, county of Missouri. Mr. Hoffman made a motion to have Mr. Rapp write an ordinance to abolish section 110.250. Mrs. Smith seconded, all voting yea. The motion carried. Mrs. Smith made a motion to recommend to full council to approve an ordinance to amend section 130.030, appropriation ordinance of the municipal code of the city of Louisiana, county of Pike, Missouri. Mrs. White seconded the motion, all voting yea, and the motion was carried. By the way, we should go back and, no, we're okay yet. Okay, and next one, an ordinance to establish order of business and preparation of city council agenda of the municipal code of the city of Louisiana, county of Pike, Missouri, was withdrawn. An ordinance to establish an ad hoc organizational review committee to better serve the citizens of Louisiana of the municipal code of the city of Louisiana, county of Pike, Missouri, was originally supposed to be a resolution, and the ordinance was withdrawn. The last one, by the way, I should go back and reread one, right?
Yeah, there should be two that
Yeah.
are actually coming.
Should have been brought to full council.
Make the
The
first motion, first reading.
130.030 should have been brought to full council.
That, I thought that's what you approved.
Yeah.
So,
I make a motion to approve the first reading of 130.030.
second,
Second.
all in favor? Okay, and it comes to her, yes.
Motion made, second, call the roll.
Who seconded? I'm sorry.
So,
Sal.
Mr. Elliott?
No.
Mr. Hoffman?
yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Yes?
Mr. Paul?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Stevens?
Nay.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
No.
Motion passed.
Okay.
We'll do two readings in one meeting, or are we gonna put it off till next month?
You have to,
Okay.
that go through the ordinance committee.
It's already been through the ordinance
Yeah.
committee, we just, I mean, by state statute, we can do two, right?
Yeah.
So, we're gonna do it twice tonight?
It takes 2 seconds to do it. Mrs. Smith made a motion, let's see. An ordinance to amend section 130.030 appropriational ordinance of the municipal code of the city of Louisiana, county of Pike, Missouri. I have a motion.
Make a motion to second, to approve the second reading of this ordinance.
I second.
Second.
Motion made, second, call the roll.
Mr. Elliott?
No.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Needham?
Yes?
Mr. Paulus?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Stevens?
Nay.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
No.
Okay.
Motion carried.
Takes us down to the final one here. There was discussion on the ordinance concerning mayoral appointments. Mr. Hoffman made a motion to recommend to full council to pass an ordinance establishing mayoral appointments with the city council's approval of the municipal code of the city of Louisiana, county of Missouri. Mr. Smith seconded the motion with Mr. Hoffman, Mrs. Smith, Mr. Elliott, all voting yea, and Mr. White voting nay. Okay? So first reading, you just heard.
I'll second the first reading.
Do we need a motion to
No,
accept
you need
it?
a motion to go to second reading.
Yes.
We need a motion for the first.
I'll make a motion,
You're right.
I'll make a motion to accept the first reading.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll make a motion, I second it.
Motion made, seconded,
We'll get you there.
Yeah.
call the roll.
Okay.
Mr. Elliott?
No.
Yeah.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Neener?
Yes.
Mr. Paul?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yay.
Mr. Stevens?
No.
Mr. White?
No.
Mr. Wood?
No. Motion failed.
Right? So that's it, I guess.
Okay. Report of special committee, city administrator.
I had one question. When would we expect to see the bills repealing 110-240 and 110-250? They're done?
They're done. I just received them today.
That's great.
I'll
So
put
they'll
them
be in
your
front
mail
of the,
slots, or
thank you.
City administrator.
Well, Sal, he took all my thunder.
Sorry.
So I'm done.
You
No,
were
you got this.
in the bathroom or something
you
last
had
time.
I have under new business.
Oh, that's new business, sorry.
The asphalt overlays. And basically, these are 3 projects that were left over from last year. The one being North Carolina Street between 15th and 17th. The other one being East Street, south from Frankfurt Road, on down to where it turns some 550 feet. Then, let's see your list there. And then going down 9th Street between North Carolina and Maryland, that's about a 280 linear feet by 19 feet wide. And the other one that I added to it was in Riverview Cemetery at the top there, where that section of asphalt is just about toast. And it's 470 linear feet by 12 feet wide to be cleaned and tacked with SS1 and overlaid with 2 inches of asphalt.
Is there any way you could go one more block east on North Carolina? That's pretty rough there, between 14th and 15th.
We budgeted 50,000 and based upon what estimates he gave me last year, and I added footage to it, so we're going to be really close, if not go over that $50,000 threshold with these 4 projects.
Yeah, that's okay.
Jimmy?
I asked you a month or so ago about down on South Carolina Street where we hit the railroad tracks. If we could, just put a little ramp to the.
That's something I think that we can do.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's anything I need to put out to a contractor.
Okay, Bob, I got some. I hate to keep harping on this, but I got prices last year, chip and seal, $2 to $3 a square yard, 2-inch asphalt overlay, $7.50 per square yard, 2 inches of asphalt remove and replace, $9 a square yard. And I went and talked to the Missouri Highway Department, and they've got a pavement specialist, a Mr. Croner. I've got his phone number, and a Jennifer Henson, District Maintenance and Traffic. They both volunteered to come down. If we call them, I'd like to call them and see if they would still come down free of charge and tell us whether we could use the chip and seal or whether we would be wasting our money.
You're wasting your money because chip and seal cannot be bladed.
What do they do on Highway D? What do they do going into Bowling Green? That's chip and seal.
Highway D is chip and seal?
I think that's what they put out. What did they put out?
It's asphalt.
I didn't know.
That is?
Looks like it to me, I don't know.
I don't think you can put chip and seal over asphalt. It's got to be cleaned down to the gravel.
So they'd have to demo that?
Huh?
They'd have to demo the ground that's there?
I think.
So where your increased cost comes in is when you have to bring in
The grinder.
the grinder to grade it off to get down to that base.
I would like to see these engineers tell us that. There's no charge.
If it's free, I mean.
And they could come down and tell us whether it would be feasible or whether it would be a big waste.
They're doing a lot of it, they said. That's what they told me. I think I've given you these numbers before. You still have them, Bob?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
When does this have to go out for bid, Bob? I mean, you can't lay asphalt when it's cold.
Exactly. That's why I got it out for bids now.
We should have started earlier. That's all I have.
Well, Larry, if you want them to come down and look, they can still come down and tell you. I mean, even though we've already got it in the paper advertised for bids.
Well, let's just do it for next year then. Have them come down and tell us. Because we could do 3 times as much chip and seal as we can asphalt. And if they're doing it other places, we could do a lot more roads. And they'll tell us whether it can be bladed or not.
They're doing chip and seal,
It's,
over chip and seal.
South,
You
before
can't
we
do chip and
close it
seal.
out, or
Have
after we
them
close
tell
on
me
that.
that.
Yes, sir.
All I have.
All right. Bob,
I'm done.
you're done? Okay. Human Relations, no one's here. Board of Adjustment,
Your board had nothing to report.
I have a question.
yes.
Some time ago, we got, and I don't want confrontation or any issue, but I don't understand who is on the Board of Adjustments. I've been asked who is on the Board of Adjustments. I don't know who's chair of Board of Adjustments. I don't understand the issues surrounding Mr. Elliott's continuance on the Board of Adjustments. You had indicated you would look into it.
Still looking at the records. I'm going back to 202 because that's when the different appointments. I'm looking at the minutes, but I'm checking out, like, say for instance, we put Chuck on the board for 5 years. Okay, I'm going back to when Chuck had been on that board. Then he doesn't get the next appointment, so then I want to see who the next appointed guy was and to check him out, and I'm following him all the way through from 2000 to date.
Okay, and it takes more than 2 months to make that discovery?
There's been a lot of other things on my plate besides that.
Can I help you with that discovery?
You can come in anytime and help me go through these
Okay.
records, sure.
Okay, very
No
good.
problem at all.
So if you had those records that the clerk would provide, then we could resolve,
It's in the minute book.
and we could resolve this at our next council meeting, who is on the Board of Adjustments, correct?
Probably.
Okay, fantastic, thank you.
Okay, introduction of resolution. New business. Media clarification.
I'm not quite sure if we've got them ready to go.
A few things. Bob, the asphalt overlays, 9th Street between North Carolina and where?
Maryland,
Maryland.
roughly 280 linear feet.
Ready? Got a few more. Oh, the recognition of Ms. Kokoris. What was the actual
Yeah, what was that?
thing called?
It is from the Missouri City Clerks and Finance Officers Association. She has been certified as a Missouri Professional City Clerk, MPCC.
Or did you want to hear that from Sal?
Sal's got a better voice than I do.
I'm not gonna live that one down. My big mouth.
Sal's more baritone.
Oh, boy.
Thanks, Mark. Let's see. That one wants to leave. Oh, the vote on, let's see, down the RFQ, I think it was, to make the sales on one-year trials. I missed Mr. Policy's vote.
On what?
Yea or nay?
On what?
On what?
On which was it?
It was the beginning of the meeting, it was on the purchase of the properties. I think Mr. Policy withdrew his second, and then Mr. Niederay asked that we do it the same way as the Dempsey sale.
So it was the 401 Georgia Street sale.
It was yay.
It was yea. Okay.
Yep.
And on, Tivis Powers, T-I-V-I-S?
Correct.
Okay. And the other buildings under consideration,
Would be the two buildings directly to the west of it, which would be, one is owned by Jim Davis, and the other one is owned by Feldworth Realty.
Feldworth Realty. Okay. I believe that's it. Thank you.
The motion that failed, what was that actually over? Right.
this-
What was
The gist?
Exactly.
The gist was to try to establish a little more cooperation between the administration and the council in terms of mayoral appointments. The idea, and I guess the disagreement, and Tom can clarify his interpretation, is that it appears to me Tom believes it's pretty much in the full purview of the mayor to appoint, and I believe that it is that it requires advice and consent of the council, and this was meant to try to tease that out so that instead of being hit with appointments right at a vote, we would have some period of time to at least discuss or look into the people we were voting on, which currently is not the way that it happens.
And then.
Well, if I could amplify on that, state law 77.330 sets out that the mayor, with the consent and approval of a majority of the members elected to the city council, has power of appointment. And the proposed ordinance would have made appointments a collaborative effort between the mayor and the city council. So I had written an opinion which in part held that changed the state law. The city can't do what state law doesn't allow.
Yeah, and we have a difference of opinion. I believe that is the definition of collaboration, not different from collaboration.
And then what was the actual vote?
4-4.
4-4?
Yeah, and that means the motion, it takes 5 councilmen to approve.
Right.
So it died.
And was it the normal 4-4?
Yes.
I don't know what the normal 4-4 is.
Yes.
Yes.
What's the normal?
I didn't mean to be
What's the normal 4-4? That was asked by me, by one of these councilmen here, and he told me, I don't like to be paired 4 and 4, but you just did it.
Do what now?
You just paired him 4 and 4.
Paired who?
You said, that's the norm, but that's over. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Okay, motion
Second.
made and second, call the roll. Yes.
Mr. Elliott, Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Yay.
Mr. Paul?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Stevens?
Yay.
Mr. White?
Hey, yes. Yes.